Hey guys, welcome to Ben Wrenchin. My name's Ben and today I'm wrenching on my 2004 Honda Accord. In this video I'm going to show how to change the Serpentine belt, also known as the drive belt, in a 2004 Honda Accord. So this should be a quick video. So I'm going to pop the hood. It's right down here. Alright, and underneath the hood, the drive belt is located right here. It's going to wrap around a few different accessories. This is the power steering pump. Got your AC compressor way down there. That's your alternator. And this is the tensioner pulley right here. So we're going to put a socket on the end of that and loosen up the tensioner pulley and get this belt off. So I noticed this belt is a little worn on this side. And it's also got some cracks in it. There's a really big one right there. So something like this is what you'll see when you know it's time to change your belt. It's not a huge deal, but these are cheap and easy to change out. So anytime you see any kind of nicks or scratches, cracking, anything like that, you definitely want to change out the belt. So we'll get a better look at this once I get it out. The bolt on the tensioner pulley is 14 millimeters. I'm going to use this low profile 14 millimeter socket. I got this socket set for pretty cheap and it's come in handy a few times. So I will link this in the description. But these are low profile sockets, and the good thing about them is they've got a hex on the backside. So you can stick them in a wrench. It's a 22 millimeter wrench. And that gives you a small socket to be able to get in there. Once you've got the socket on there, just pull the wrench towards you and the idler pulley will swing out that way and loosen the belt, so then you can take it off right here. Before you do that, you want to get a good idea of how the belt is looped through all the pulleys. You can draw a diagram before you take it off. You can also find a diagram online of how it's routed. I will find that and put it up on the screen. But you want to make sure you don't put the belt back on wrong. All the pulleys are either flat or they've got teeth on them like that, so you know which side of the belt touches the pulley, but it can still be confusing how it's routed when you try to go put it back on. So just make sure you get an idea of what it looks like before you take it off. So I repositioned my wrench so that I've got more room to pull this with, and as I pull this wrench, it loosens that tensioner pulley. Since it's under a lot of pressure, you want to make sure the socket is fully seated on the bolt in the center of that tensioner pulley, and then just pull on it to loosen it and pull the belt off of one of these pulleys. So now that we've got the belt off there, we can take off the wrench. With the extra travel after the belt's off, your wrench may be a little tight in there and difficult to wiggle off, so you can just use a pry bar to get the wrench off and take the socket off. And with the belt loose, we can just take it off the rest of the pulleys and you can just fish it right out. So there we go. You can also cut it off if you want to. I don't like doing that, but you can cut it off if you want to. So now with the belt off, we can see some of the things that we're looking for in a bad belt. One of them is something like this. It's not a huge deal, but something like that over time is going to split open. And there's also some fraying on the edges of the belt. That's not good. You can see some wear all along one side of it. That's not good either. Got a big chunk taken out of it right here. So all of these are not immediate problems, but they do show that we need to change the belt before these get worse. And stuff like that means it's time for a new belt. It's got some oil and gunk on it from an oil leak, and I'm also going to be changing my valve cover gasket, and I got a new valve cover, so I will link that video up top. But all along this belt there are just all kinds of different spots that have wear on them. So this is the belt that I got. It's Bando brand 7PK1781. I've had issues in the past where belts say that they fit my car and then I get the belt off and find out it's a different size or whatever. So that's one of the reasons I don't cut the old belt, just in case the belt that I got doesn't fit. I want to make sure I can still put this old belt back on. I will link this belt in the description. But the first thing I do after I take the packaging off is lay the belts out and make sure that they are the same size. So you just put one on top of the other and pull them tight and make sure they look like they're the same size. You also want to compare the thickness of the two and make sure they look like they're the same width. So you also want to flip it around and make sure that it has the same number of teeth on each belt. This old belt, the teeth are V-shaped and this one is not. I put this on one of the pulleys and it looks like it sits fine. So I may have gotten the wrong belt last time, but these belts do look different. And if you get the new one on and something sounds weird, then you'll know that you got the wrong belt. So I'm gonna try this one since these teeth fit into the teeth on one of the pulleys, but you wanna make sure if these are different that you actually got the right belt before you put it on and drive with it and think that everything's okay. The width is the same, and both AutoZone and Amazon said that this is the right belt for this car. So I'm gonna go with it. We'll get it on and start it up and make sure that everything runs okay and it sounds fine. That may be one of the reasons that this belt got as worn as it did. So we'll get the new belt on the same way we took the old one off. All right, to get the belt back on, I'm going to reference my very detailed drawing that I did. So that's the power steering pump, pulley, alternator, compressor, tensioner, drive shaft pulley. Not sure what that one is, that's why it's blank. But this is what I did to make sure I get the belt back on in the right orientation. I will try to find a better chart than this, but in case I don't, this is what I did. So the teeth inside these pulleys has some old belt material, so I'm just gonna blow it out before I put the new belt on. All right, I'm just gonna fish the new belt down in there. I'll probably get underneath and put it around the compressor and the drive shaft pulleys, since those are on the bottom. All right, so underneath I got it around the drive shaft pulley, along the bottom around the compressor pulley, and then up around this pulley here. So now I just need to put it around the alternator, the power steering, and then I can get it on the tensioner. All right, I've got everything lined up underneath. I just don't have it on the power steering pump pulley. So I can get my wrench in here and I can pull on it and get this belt around the power steering pulley. Go. So as I let it down, I'm going to make sure it's still around the alternator and the compressor, and hopefully it's still around the crankshaft pulley. And as long as it is, we're in good shape. So I'm going to center it on this tensioner pulley a little better and let go. And now I just need to double check and make sure it's still on the drive shaft pulley. All right, so everything up top looks good. It's good around the alternator pulley. It's good around the tensioner pulley. Going down to the compressor, it's good on there. And then underneath, it also looks good on that crankshaft pulley. And also on that other pulley that I don't know what it is. So all that looks good. I think we're in good shape. All right, with all that back together, the last thing we want to do is start the car and make sure the belt sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so with that, I think the belt looks really good. So that is how to change the belt on your 2004 Honda Accord. If you like this video, please subscribe for more content on my Honda Accord, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.